Please welcome Rachel Kyte, CEO and Special Representative for the UN Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All.
I always thank you.
Did you hear her ringtone? It's Love Your Body.
Is there a mic in the house? There you go. Now, can you hear me? No? Hi, can you hear me now? All right. Oh. I promised this was worth waiting for. So I want to talk about getting stuff done together with all of you here and everybody else online. I'm here to talk to you about number 7 in the Sustainable Development Goals, sustainable energy for all. It means doubling the rate of productivity, energy productivity in the economy. What does that mean? That means getting an awful lot more efficient than we are today with every ton of carbon that we use in industry, in transport, in appliances, in buildings, in every aspect of our lives. It means increasing the amount of renewables in the energy mix, and it means closing the energy access gap so that everybody has access to energy. Not just to a lamp, not just maybe to a clean cook stove, but that you can start a business and run a business because you know that the energy will be there at 10 o'clock at night, at 3 o'clock in the morning, at 7 o'clock the next morning. And I'm here also to tell you that this can be done. So it's important that you think about what success is actually going to look like. So I want you to close your eyes. It's dark. Don't be shy. Those of you on screen, I can see if your eyes are closed. Close your eyes. I want to take you now forward to 2024, 2025. It's before 2030 when we should have achieved these goals. It's 2024. It's the end of the decade of sustainable energy for all. We're in a town, in a country in Central West Africa. It's the end of the day, 6:30. It's dark. You're standing in the village square, town square. You look around, and there's a multitude of activity. There are storefronts, fully lit, businesses running. Over in one corner of the square, there's a clinic. It's not some rinky-dink basic clinic. It's a multi-story clinic with lights on, with a sign outside. And you are a nurse. And you didn't have to fly the other side of the earth to get trained. You trained in the capital city, and you came back because there was a clinic that had power. And it meant that you could treat patients. And it meant that you didn't have to worry. You don't have to worry about an infection because infection prevention is working because the autoclave is on, and you don't have to worry that the generator will stop working. There's an emergency C-section going on in the next room. Safe, easily done, because there is power. And you stand there and you are immensely proud. And you are immensely proud that your community is growing, your community is contributing, the kids are learning, there's safe health services for everybody, and it's simply because the community has access to affordable, reliable, clean power. Open your eyes. This is doable, and it's doable by 2024, 2025, and it's affordable. Today, in 2016, we can't quite imagine what that could be. We think about these goals as being out there, something that affects somebody else, something that maybe we will get to. But if we imagine how it will be when we have this access to clean, affordable energy, I think it's possible then to chart a pathway that is truly meaningful, and a pathway which will be cheaper, a pathway which will be disciplined and focused, because we know that this can be done, and we know what will happen when we achieve. Now, what I want to do is answer the question, where do we start? And this thing's now not working. Oh. Okay. So what I want to do is show you some charts about where we should start. So this is very small, and I know very challenging. But what we've done in Sustainable Energy for All is ask ourselves, okay, so So we have 1.1 billion people in the world who don't have access to affordable, clean energy today. This is the goal, that we close that gap. But who are those 1.1 billion people? Where do they live, and where do we start? The goal is for 2030, but we need to know, where are we going to be in 2018? Where do we need to be in 2020? Now, anybody who doesn't have access to energy needs access to energy. But when we break the 1.1 billion people down, we do end up focusing in certain countries where the energy access gap is the largest, but A, because they're populous countries, and B, because the access gap is very big. This is the map of the top 20 countries, which, if we're serious about closing this gap, need to be the focus of our attention in the next 5 years. What they need is an enabling environment that will allow the investment to come in for the small-scale businesses, as well as the investment that will come in for the expansion of a clean, modern grid. And I can show you that as well. So if you take the top 20 countries in sub-Saharan Africa and you look at them in terms of who has the most enabling environment for investment and activity, then these are the ones that we can see, from red, that have the most work to do, to green, who really are well on the way to creating that environment. This is important information for government in terms of setting the priority for new policy. It's important information for you, civil society, youth, women, to say, we want this changed. And it's important information for investors in terms of where will they get a return on their investment. I can show you the same thing for South Asia as well. So you can see where progress is being made, and we can celebrate that, and we can see where there's a lot more work to do, and we can concentrate our effort. Now, I can get down behind the enabling environment, and we can look at the next chart, and this tells you how expensive it needs to be. In the run-up to the setting up of the goals, people talked about the fact that we needed $50 billion a year to invest in order to make this goal happen. Those kinds of numbers frighten people away. But when we can get down into these priority countries and look at what kind of access people don't have, and we look at where those people are and what would enable them to be more likely to get access, we can start coming up with some very interesting numbers. We talk about tiers of access. Tier 1. The power needed for everyone in those 20 countries to have a solar-powered lamp or a cell phone charger or both would cost about $2 billion a year. Well, it sounds like a lot. No, $2 billion is about the average price of a presidential election these days. Tier 2, that everyone in those 20 countries would have enough access to power a small appliance like a TV or a fan, in addition to that lamp, in addition to that cell phone charger. Cost? About $7 billion a year. Well, that's what we spend on decorations and costumes and candy every Halloween. Tier 3, enabling every household in those 20 countries to power a refrigerator. A refrigerator essential, but also essential to starting many businesses. The cost, an additional $8 billion. Well, that's a little more than Microsoft paid for Skype in 2011. And Tier 4, well, that would ensure that everyone in these 20 countries where the impact could be the largest could connect to a high-power appliance. The additional cost, $21 billion. That is little less than what just got wiped off Samsung's balance sheet when the Note 7 started to go up in flames. And Tier 5. Well, we live in Tier 5. We rely upon, we depend upon, we expect power to be there. It powers our homes, it powers our lives, it powers our businesses. That's a little over $40 billion. Ironically, that was the cost of the cleanup for the BP Deepwater Horizon spill. So don't tell me that we can't do this. We can. Our job is to convey and be clear that we know that it's doable, we know it's affordable, we know it's our task, and we know it's up to us. At Sustainable Energy for All, we're trying to marshal the evidence, benchmark progress, and tell the stories of success, of remarkable businesses filling this gap every day. Don't travel as fast as the stories of failure, the stories of what's difficult, the stories of how enormous this problem is. In April next year, we will call the next Sustainable Energy for All Forum. It'll be a marketplace. It's going to be in Brooklyn from April the 3rd to the 5th. It's where businesses will come and find financiers. It's where the new generation of financiers, the people who divested, who now need to invest in the solution, will come to find the businesses that they can invest in. I want you all to come and be part of what is a movement for doing something which is practical, doable, and affordable. The SDGs came out of the UN. The opening sentence of the UN's charter is "We the peoples." We the peoples are not just those who can switch on a switch and have light. We the peoples are not just the women who can go to a stove and cleanly cook and not imperil their children's health in order to put food on the table. We the peoples are everyone. Everyone has access to energy. Everyone can have access to energy. Everyone can afford access to energy. This is one of the SDGs which is close at hand, and it needs every single one of us to get it done. Thank you.